Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1971 Winter Baseball Classic. We got the final round of three matchup here that will divide the tournament field from 16 down to a final 8. After this round of three, we'll have rounds of 5 and 7 to wrap the tournament up. We're about more than halfway through here. And today we got a game between the Hollywood and Coney Island franchises. You know, the big ticket, national glitz and glamour teams. If there is such a thing for this tournament, let's show how they arrived at this point in the tournament. Hollywood won this thing a year ago, so they started out with a 1 seed out west, but they would win that one 4-2, but then in the winner's bracket they would lose to Mexico, so they ended up here with a 5 seed overall to face Coney Island. Now Coney Island's been kind of weak. They lost 4-1 in the round of 7. In the loser's bracket, they barely survived that. They won it 3-1. So Coney Island was 4-5 after 2 rounds, and a 4-5 record against Hollywood's 6-5 record means a best of 3 decides who gets eliminated here. And in game 1, we opened up in Hollywood. Here we are just outside Baroque Books on Las Palmas there. Looking for Big Red there, back in '98, I think. Good friend of Bukowski, of course, back in that era. Rest in peace. Anyway, Coney Island sends Jim Palmer out to the mound. It's funny because Coney Island has traditionally been a powerhouse in this tournament because they have Jim Palmer and Tom Seaver when they're available. Palmer is available as his 70 card was up, so he's looking to pick up either his 71 or 74 card with the Orioles. Seaver's not available. We know his 71 card is in the Summer League for those Mets. So it's when Palmer and Seaver can team up for the Coney Island Cyclones, they're pretty much lights out. Unfortunately, Coney Island's pitchers are kind of overrated. Palmer, Fritz Peterson, and Dick Bosman have been getting knocked around the entire tournament. This is a close game. Jim Schellenbach, not the type of name you want to be a pitcher, but it works anyway. As a lefty, the 3 starter for this team. He goes toe-to-toe with Palmer. Interestingly, in the 5th inning, we have RBI triples by each team to make it 1-1. But in the 7th inning, with a man at first, a ground ball to Enzo Hernandez, he cannot make a play on it, and that extends the inning. Joe Morgan steals second base off the -4 arm of Thurman Munson, who can't believe it, and because of that, the inning gets extended, and Gail Hopkins hits a 2-run homer. And Palmer cannot believe his misfortune and declines to go out for the 8th inning, as, again, to him, it's just a spring training game. So it is a 5-1 final for Hollywood, a team who won it a year ago. Doing the right things, picking up from the momentum of last year and trying to get back-to-back tournament championships, though this team is not as good as last year's team. They do it with Joe Morgan, Dave Cash, Dick Allen, Ken Henderson, Bill Singer, and Clay Carroll closing things out. Let's get us to today, folks. After winning in Hollywood, the series moves to Coney Island for Game 2. Coney Island has to win this to force a Game 3 back in Hollywood. It's simple best of 3, back and forth affair, round robin, rubber match kind of thing. Today's pitchers, Coney Island will send Jerry Royce out there. He can pitch on 3 days rest, which is the good news. Bad news is he's 14-14 with a 4.78 ERA for the Cardinals in 71. He doesn't have that magic yet, and he's pretty hittable early in his career. So Hollywood has to try and win on the road with him. He will deal with Fred Norman, who is still a Padre in 71. 3-12, well, it's because it's Padres, but a nice 3.57 ERA in 131 innings. He and Padre teammate Clay Kirby will eventually show up on the Cincinnati Reds at a certain point in this decade. But those are your pitchers, a couple of lefties, Royce and Norman. Coney Island needs to win this or ride the roller coaster if you lose, because you'll be done. Let's get started from Coney Island. This is the Coney Island Cyclone coaster here in its wooden fashion and whatnot. Joe Morgan will lead off. 43, rolls to first X. You got Boog Powell at first, 2-7. Pretty popular baseball players for both squads in this game. Famous ones for, big name cities. New York and LA, you know, so you expect some big names. Ken Henderson, 32, is hit by the pitch. He is an ace stealer. Munson does get that -4 arm, so he's not going to take that on. Dave Cash will get his rips in. 58 pops the first, and with 2 outs, it's Dick Dietz. 57, single 1 to 12 off Norman, but he gets it. 2 on, 2 outs for Dick Allen. 4-12 first. We got Dick Allen's 72 MVP card is in the Summer League. That's why you see him here with a 71 card. All right, Coney Island, they'll have Enzo Hernandez leading off, trying to get on the Padres, but his hitting has been dreadful, and his defense isn't that good, so we don't know about this. 49, he gets a single. Now, he is an ace stealer. It's probably the best thing about him. And they do have Dietz catching with a 0 arm, so Enzo's taken off. And he steals second base. Dennis Menke with runner at second. 59, there you go. Homer 1-9 double off of Royce is a 2-base hit, and just like that, the offensively challenged Coney Island Cyclones have got a run and a batter, and a runner on base. Boog Powell, 3-6, single to left. Menke, 12. Runner will hold. On the corners, nobody out. Brooks Robinson playing back. 2-7 is a pop to third. Thurman Munson, 38 is a single 1-2. Lines out. And Reggie Jackson. 2-5, Reggie. Also a single 1-2. But he hits it. Well, you need that. So you got some famous players here, but they don't really have particularly fantastic seasons, is what we're seeing here. Reggie gets the single. That'll plate the second run. 2-0. Brant Alea, a guy on the retired list, brought out of the retirement for this tournament. 69. And they're dinging Jerry Royce. Double 1-10. It's a double. And that'll score another run. Second and third, Duffy Dyer. 6-10, single to center field. Jerry Royce is just what the Coney Island Cyclones needed here. Alea will not run. Runners in the corners, 2 outs. They bat around, 4 plated. Elliot Maddox, 2-9 is a walk. They bat around the most, well, I guess they aren't the worst hitting team because we've got some Hall of Famers here, but they're struggling to score runs, I'll just put it that way. Enzo bats for the second time with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Enzo, 42, flies to left field. Hollywood did not get on the airplane. Apparently Jerry Royce must have had jet lag going to the East Coast. Chuck Hinton, 53, first X, but Boog Powell's a 2-7. Good defense in the corners with Boog Powell and Brooks Robinson. Chuck Harrison, 1-7's a single. Jimmy Rosario, 1-9 is a fielder's choice, and with 2 outs, it's Roger Metzger. 2-7. That's going to be a base hit because you had to hold Rosario at first. It rolls through the hole. And with runners on the corners and 2 outs, it's the dangerous Joe Morgan. Still an Astro in this version. 57. Oh, he nails the Norman card. He's got the 6-10 card, so 5-7 against the lefty is triple. 1-17 double. You hate to see that. He misses the triple on the 17. It is a double. So now Metzger's got to fight for his life to run around the bases and score here. He's a 14, 15, 16, plus 1 arm makes it a 17, and he scores on a 7. Made it a little bit more dramatic than it needed to. Morgan does not end up at third base. He's on at second. Halves the lead to 4-2. Your tie run with 2 outs is Ken Henderson. 45, bounces to short. This is Enzo. 338, makes the play. Bottom of 2, it'll be Dennis Menke. 68, center. Boog Powell, walks. Brooksy, 2-8, Brooks, double 1-7. The Oriole players get on. Single ... Runners in the corners. With 1 out, they're going to bring it up. Munson walks. With the bases loaded, they're going to play it back for Reggie. 2-7's a K. And with 2 outs, Brandon Alea, big moment here. Coney Island needs all the runs they can get. They're offensively challenged. Here's the pitch to Brant Alea. 1-6 is a strikeout. Oh boy. 4-2. Hollywood has them right where they want them. Down a couple of runs in the third. It's Dave Cash. 2-9 for Dave Cash. This double 1-13 is a single. Misses it. Beef Steeler has to hold it first for Dick Dietz. 67 is a K. Dick Allen. 38 is a K. And with 2 outs, Chuck Hinton. 34 is a strikeout. Fred Norman battles back. Bottom of the third, it's Duffy Dyer. 56, second X. Morgan's a 2E12. He is out. Elliot Maddox, 36 is a K. And with 2 outs. Enzo, 68, center. So Jerry Royce settles down a little bit. After a disastrous first, stranding runners in the second, and 3 up and 3 down in the third. We go to the fourth of a 4-2 game. A lot of fireworks. Chuck Harrison will lead off. 4-12 first. Jimmy Rosario, 3-11 is double. 1-18, it's 2-base hit. Runner at second for Roger Metzger. 66, off the Norman card is a walk. Fred Norman about to blow this thing, looks like. 2 on, 1 out, Joe Morgan. 1-8 for Morgan is also a walk. The bases are loaded for Ken Henderson. Playing back, hoping for double play with a 2-run lead. 6-10 off of Norman on a 6-10 card. Homer 1-9 for the Grand Slam if you have power. He's got power. It doesn't get the 1-9 though. It's a double. In the deep center field, ball's rolling around. Morgan, does he try and score from first on a double? He's a 17 runner. Your center fielder's got a +1 arm, making it an 18. And he scores from first on the double, and just like that, Coney Island fans are deflated as that 4-0 lead is gone. It's 5-4 deficit now. Runner at second and 1 out. Steve Cash, 69, and they're denting old Freddie here. Fred Norman is not looking very well. Another double, and it's 6-4. We're starting to get some boos. They're coming down from the New Yorkers here. And it's Dick Dietz. 110 rolls to short, and with 2 outs, it's Dick Allen. 49 is a walk, and your final batter will be Chuck Hinton, then we'll pull this guy. 3-6 is a K. So Norman will go into the dugout and then follow that to the clubhouse. Down 6-4. Jerry Royce given new life, but just because he pitches on 3 days rest, we don't need him to make sure he qualifies for the win and so forth. So we'll watch him closely as to not blow up again. In the bottom of the fourth, as Hollywood tries to knock Coney Allen out of the tournament. So leading off, it'll be Dennis Menke. 1-7. Menke triple 1-4 double, and that's a triple. Ball must be blowing out today, folks. A lot of offense. Runner at third, 2-run lead. They will play back for Boog Powell. 45 for Boog is a K. Still playing back for Brooksy. Brooksy Ks, and with 2 outs, more disappointment possibly. Thurman Munson. 2-11, he rolls to short. Oh boy, folks. Really disappointing performance now by Coney Allen. Leadoff triple. He's stuck there. Can't do a thing off Jerry Royce, who has a 4.78 ERA. Some head scratching baseball from Coney Island. As we go to the fifth, Fred Norman is gone. That just did not work out. Coney Island will go to Bill Champion in the fifth. Bill Champion in the 5th inning, an undrafted free agent trying to get into the league, will face Chuck Harrison. 42, skies the center field. Jimmy Rosario, 1-7 is a K. And Roger Metzger, 38 is a liner second. I've got to give Hollywood some credit because they have some decent defense here. All those guys who just batted are 2s. 2E12 at first, a 2E2 in left, 2E19 at short, 2E12 Joe Morgan at second. Ken Anderson's a 2E12 in center field. Dave Cash is playing third base early in his career here as a 3E21, which is interesting. Of course, Dick Allen's a DH, so you don't have to worry about his awful defense. And Chuck Hinton is in a corner outfield spot as a 3, so not bad. Can Royce qualify for a win after blowing up in the first inning? Down 0-4. Can he collect 3 outs and get him out of there maybe? It'll be Reggie leading off in the bottom of the 5th. 57 is a K. Brant Alea. 56, second X. This is Morgan at 2E12. Makes the play, and with 2 outs. Duffy Dyer, 69. Double 1-10, double. Your tie run with 2 outs is Elliot Maddox. 38 is a single to center field. Dyer, 10 runner, 11-12, not against the Henderson, -2 arm. Now you're in a situation with Royce trying to qualify for a win, could instead get a loss. But normally, Enzo Hernandez does not provoke pitching changes. So Royce will pitch to Enzo with runners on the corners, with 2 outs and a 2-run lead. Here is the pitch to Enzo. 2-5. Yeah, pops to second base. Oh boy. You know, we don't have deep rosters, folks. We only have 12-man hitters and 8 pitchers, so it's not like you can do pinch hitting and things like that early in these games. You got to save your bench for late in the game moves. Same with the bullpen when you can. 5 innings in the books. 6-4 Hollywood. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, Bill Champion did okay in the 5th. He'll continue into the 6th. Joe Morgan will lead it off. 2-11 lands the 3rd. Ken Henderson, 4-12, flies to center. Dave Cash, 46 is a walk. And with 2 outs, it's Dick Dietz, much better against lefties, but I help that here. 47, now they're getting the champion, double one, single dot dot. You got runners on the corners and Dick Allen, and I really think this could be the tournament if you can't get this guy out and get more runs. Bill Champion is not a glowing pitcher. You know, I think we're going to do the old hook here. We're going to get him out of there after 5/3 with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Dick Allen really crushes righties still. Better against righties than lefties. Champion's is not really that great anyway. I think they're going to go Pete Reichert here, their lefty setup guy, early in this game because they're about to get eliminated. So they may as well go out with Reichert and Sanders, the strong arms, coming in and trying to bail this team out. So in the 6th inning, Pete Reichert comes in to face the dangerous Dick Allen. So here we are. Got runners on the corners, 2 outs. The pitch to Dick Allen. 34 is a ground ball to short, and that'll end the inning. Reichert gets the key out there. Now, what do you do with Royce? He got you through 5. I think I'll let him pitch through to Boog Powell, and that'll probably do it. It's not like you're going to pinch hit for Power Jackson anyway, or Reggie Jackson anyway. If he does well with Powell, Robinson, and Munson, we'll get him the Reggie. So Royce continues with a 6-4 lead. He's a starter 6. And here is Dennis Mankey. 56, second X. This is Morgan, 2E12. Good defense, and it's right there. 2E12's ground ball B. That's what you need. These little tournaments, your defense can make up for a lot of shortcomings otherwise. Boog Powell, 56 is a K, and with 2 outs, he'll continue against Brooksy. 1-7 is a walk. And here's your tie run, Thurman Munson. He hits a reasonable number of homers, 10 in 500 plate appearances. Royce, not that bad. We'll pitch to this guy, see if we can get to Reggie. Jerry Royce to Thurman Munson, the tie run with 2 outs in the 6th. Here's the pitch. 38, Munson, single 1-2. We hit one of these earlier in this game, but not this time. So Munson has missed 2 single 1-2s, and Reggie has hit 1 single 1-2. Still above normal percentage-wise to convert that, but it doesn't happen here. The inning is over. We'll go to the 7th. Chuck Hinton will lead it off. 62, flies right. Chuck Harrison, 56 is a K. Jimmy Rosario, 110 rolls a short. Any more defense to bring in? No. All the defense is already in the game. 6-4. I think Royce will pitch to Reggie, and then we'll get him out of there and go to the pen here. So we are on borrowed time with Jerry Royce. Reggie will lead off in the 7th. 47 is a walk, and that'll do it. That was 1 batter too many, probably. So the line for Royce, he's 6 innings, 4 runs, bunch of base runners. He's responsible for the runner in the 7th. And Horatio Pena will come in out of the Hollywood bullpen and try and shut this thing down in the 7th. And batting for Brant Alea is pretty awful, all things considered. It'll be Tom McCraw, who has a decent amount of power. He's a guy who's on waivers in the league. Tom McCraw. 67 off of Pena is a strikeout. Duffy Dyer I don't think he warrants batting here. He's also pretty bad. 231 hitter. Doesn't have power. If I could get the 2-run homer, I'd let him bat, but he can't do that. We'll go with Jake Gibbs here. He was a Yankee catcher with 5 home runs. Jake Gibbs will try and take his hacks at a 2-run homer here. The pitch to Jake Gibbs. 2-5, lines the third. This team has 3 catchers on the roster. They got Munson, Duffy Dyer at DH, and now Jake Gibbs at DH. All can catch. And with 2 outs, you got Elliot Maddox with Jim Lytle on the bench. They gave Lytle power. He had 1 home run in 86 at-bats. They gave him power, so he'll swing away. Jim Lytle here. The tie run with 2 outs. The pitch to Jim Lytle. 6-11 off Pena is pitcher X. Pena's an E0. Good luck with that. Home team, you don't roll. It's automatic out. Road teams, you have to roll and hope you get the single, and they do not. Now those 3 left-handed bats are in the team. If they get that spot in the lineup again, you can bring in Jim Rooker, and it's just about over. They don't have hits on their cards, I don't think. 6-4 in the 8th. Reichert's a relief too. It's a breaking inning for him, but he's got 4 guys out. Ken Sanders, the closer, is warming. They also have George Culver, another long man. So it'll be Roger Metzger leading off. 1-5, grounds to short. Joe Morgan. 37 is a single. And Reichert's actually pretty good here against righties. He'll pitch to Ken Henderson. 54, center X. The new center fielder is Lytle. There's a 3-E-3 in center field. Makes the grab. And with 2 outs, it's Dave Cash. We're going really long here with Reichert, and I think we'll turn him around now. That'll do it. So he gets credit for 2 innings. 7 2/3. We're going to bring in Ken Sanders with 2 outs in the 8th inning to see if we can keep this a 2-run game. Get a right-handed pitch in here against the right-handers Cash, Dietz, and Allen. So Dave Cash, the runner in first and 2 outs. Does Morgan try and steal again off of Munson? Oh, why not? Morgan's going to try and steal again off of Thurman Munson. And he's successful on a 9. Wow. Now you got a runner in scoring position for Dave Cash. 33, he pops to first base. Okay, it is 6-4. And you have the top of the lineup again. Enzo Hernandez, Mankey. There's no more bench. And Pena's good against righties. So he'll continue against Mankey and Hernandez and Mankey. And then after that, we might see Jim Rooker against Blue Pal. Let's see what happens. Enzo. 1 for 4 with a run scored today. 56 is Shortex, but they're good there too. Metzger's a 2E19 shortstop. That's what you need to finish these games out. Good defense. He makes the play. Dennis Mankey. 63, Shortex again. Same consideration up here. 2E19, ground ball C. Routine ground balls to Roger Metzger. It's just about over, folks. And now you got the dangerous Boog Pal. You want to get Rooker in here? Kind of spread the wealth around a little bit? Let's get Jim Rooker in here against Boog Pal, the lefty-lefty. Pena leaves after ending in 2/3. Got everybody out. Can't do much better than that. Jim Rooker comes on in the 8th to face old Boog Pal. And here's the pitch to Boog. 1-7 is a walk. Now it sets up Brooks Robinson, who, believe it or not, folks, does not have power against left-handed pitching. Brooks Robinson, in 1971, hit .272 with 20 home runs. Tremendous power against right-handed pitchers. He's got a 1-13 chance on .210 against lefties, and that's the only way he can do it. He can't get it off the pitcher's card. And Rooker doesn't have homers on his card. So no chance of getting a home run here. So he'll pitch to Brooks Robinson. 1-6 for Brooksy, though, is single 1-6, and he rolls a 20 and does not hit the single 1-6. That is tough news there for the Cyclones. Not looking good. We'll go to the ninth. Ken Sanders continues. Dick Dietz or Torborg, an E13. Dietz is an E16. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Dietz can hit the home run though. Dietz will bat. 1-4 rolls a short. Dick Allen, 65, flies to right field, and with 2 outs is Chuck Hinton. 35, rolls to shortstop. Buckle up, bottom of the ninth. Here we go. Rooker will pitch through to Reggie, and then, well, actually, it's the right-hander Munson, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 lefties in a row after that, with a 2-run lead. McCraw, oh, they're awful too against lefties. So Rooker isn't the greatest in the world. Interesting situation here. You'll have to beat Jim Rooker, it looks like. Clay Carroll is ready to go. He is the closer. But with all those pinch hits a few innings ago, it sets up Rooker to have a fantastic finish. So here we go. He's also a relief 3, so he can't even break. It'll be Thurman Munson leading off in the bottom of the ninth. 3-10 for Munson is a strikeout. Here we go. Reggie, the first of the lefties. Reggie, 34, flies to center field, and this is looking dismal. 4 runs in the first, and they patted themselves on the back to celebrate, and yeah, they're about to get bounced. Tom McCraw, 2 outs in the 9th inning. 4-11 against Rooker is a fly ball into right X. This is Chuck Hinton, a 3-7. Can you get on off this guy? He's pretty much the worst defensive player on the team, which is surprising because he's halfway decent. And it's a double. The only 3 defender on this, yeah, I get 2, 2, did catch the 3. And then 2's at first, left, and short. But that is a double to extend this game 1 more batter. So the lefty McGraw gets a double, improbably. And now you got Jake Gibbs, who doesn't even have power. He can't tie this thing. And there's no more bench players, of course, so he'll have to swing. So we're on the very low percentile chance of a Coney Island Cyclone victory here, folks. Just something to think about. Jake Gibbs will swing away. Here's the pitch to Jake. 6-11, is it an X? It is, this time to left field, but this guy's better. Rosario is a 2-2 in left field, so let's see what happens here. The left fielder is a 2. No, it's not an error, because that E rating reflects a 7. He's an E2. And it's a fly ball B to end the game. So eventually, the defense wins out. Jim Rooker, a little nervous there at the end there. Gets 4 of the final outs to get a save. And Hollywood advances for the 2nd year in a row into the round of 8. Ken Sanders also went a 4. Ken Sanders also an inning and a 3rd in that. And Fred Norman just self-destructed in these early innings here. Blow the 4-0 lead. And that's your game, folks. We'll eliminate Coney Island Cyclones at the end of this video. Sanders went an inning and a 3rd. He was perfect. His status is safe as a dominant closer, and we'll see him in the Summer League, old Ken Sanders. Reichert gave up just a hit and a K. Nice performance from him. Phil Champion did all right as well. He got his first 5 batters out, then put a couple guys on. A hit, a walk, and a K. So overall, over the last 5 innings, just 2 hits and a walk by Hollywood, but they'd already caused Norman to self-destruct. Norman's responsible for the 8 hits and the 6 runs. Everything's earned. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Rooker gets the save. He gave up a walk to Boog Powell, a hit, walk, and a K, and a save. Inning and 2/3 for Pena. And Pena got a strikeout, got all his guys out. Royce gets the win. Wasn't sparkling by any stretch. That 4-run first inning really scared us, and then he continued to put base runners on, but survived this thing. And his final line looks like this: 6 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts for Jerry Royce. He put 15 men on in 6 innings and got a victory. Good for him. 4 runs in 6 innings. He had a 4.78 ERA. That's just about right there. 1.019, 0.109, 6.10, 4.11. 610, 411, 5669. You know, Hollywood put 15 men on base. Coney Island put 17 men on base, but wasted it. Wasted it here in the second inning. And they had individual runners in a bunch of the other innings. Only had 1 3-up and 3-down inning here. Not a good look for the Coney Island Cyclones. 1019, 0109, 610, 411, 5669, 6956. 2 straight Hollywood advances. Let's take a look at the composite box here for the 2 teams. Number 5 Hollywood team advances, so we know they'll play the number 4 team in the next round. And Coney Island just, it was painful to play that team. I know those names sounded exciting, but it was the supporting cast beyond Boo Powell, Brooksy, Reggie, and Munson, you know, the traditional Hall of Famers. It was pretty dismal, really. Coney Island finishes this tournament 4-7. Very fortunate to even be in this round, I suppose. They get 259. The great starting pitching had a 5.02 ERA. Jim Palmer went 1-3. You know, each pitcher got an individual win, but nobody had a winning record. Ken Sanders, as a closer, got 3 saves in those 4 wins. At the plate, you had 5 home runs for Reggie, but they came early in the tournament to get him to this place, and then he kind of fizzled at the end of it. Dennis Menke had 16 hits. Not a pretty sight there for the 4-7 Coney Island Cyclones. At the other end of the perspective here, other end of the thing here, we have Hollywood, 8-5, an 8-game winner in this round. 276, 365 ERA. Very balanced there. All their pitchers doing pretty well. Bill Singer's the ace, has just 1 win, but he's pitched well. Bullpen's helped him. Schellenbach's done well. Royce has 2 wins, so his ERA, he's gotten support. His ERA is very high. Clay Carroll, Rooker has only given up an unearned run in the entire tournament, and he and Clay Carroll have a couple saves. We got 4 home runs and 16 RBIs for Chuck Hinton, corner outfielder, property of the Ohio Players. Nice player there. We got 19 hits for Joe Morgan leading off. As his team is still in this tournament, he could be the tournament most valuable player. Plenty of time to decide all that stuff. So that's it for now. We'll continue this video with the elimination of the Coney Island Cyclones. Thanks for checking this out, folks. I'll see you next time. All right, welcome back, baseball fans. They're eliminating the Coney Island team. Really lucky to get this far. They only won 4 games of the tournament, which means in the round of 7, they only won 1. Then, of course, in the round of 5, they did get those other 3 wins, not winning either game against Hollywood. So that was a total of 4 victories amongst 4 individual starters there. Basically, Palmer and Peterson were just awful when they're supposed to be great. I mean, they pitched on 3 days rest, as does Bosman. Just had a bad tournament, and that's just going to waste this team right there, right off the bat. Ken Sanders was, of course, a good closer for this team. You know, offensively, they're a little bit all over the place. Munson at 359 for the tournament with 10 walks and 3 strikeouts with a 490 on base, which is nice. And Dennis Menke, 372 with a 438 on base, which is nice. Jim Lytle, 087 was awful. Brooks, Robinson, and Reggie, your Hall of Famers, were okay. Reggie was good early with 5 homers, and he kind of fizzled after that. Anyway, not much to really say about this analysis. We're more concerned with the 71 guys. We'll take a look at all the guys' stats from 71, plus their defenses in there. And we talk about the waiver guys first. You have Jake Gibbs, Jim Lytle, Tommy McCraw, and Dick Bosman. Nothing special there at all, particularly in the tournament. We'll evaluate them. The keepers in blue would be Maddox, Menke, Powell, Robinson, Palmer, Peterson, Sanders, some important keepers there. The guys in green are your carry-on guys who have a better year in the future. Duffy Dyer, Enzo Hernandez, Reggie Jackson with an MVP card. Munson, with a near MVP card. Fred Norman, Pete Reichert. You've got 2 undrafted free agents, Bill Champion, George Culver. We need to look at those guys a little closer to see if they can get in that summer league. And that 1 red stripe at the top for Brant Alea was put on the retirement list because his card was pretty bad, yet it was printed. So we didn't really want to put him on the waiver list, meaning that you'd put an undesirable player on waivers and no one's really going to want him. So you got to put him somewhere, so you put him on the retired list, and he got a call to participate in this tournament because we were short of players. So we'll take a look at Alea, and yeah, if you go on retirement, you can still get into the summer league, though it's highly unlikely. It has happened before many times. So with that, let's take a look at the Coney Island Cyclone cards here, beginning with those 4 waivered guys. The first of which is Jake Gibbs, who is a left-handed hitting catcher with some power. That's what can get him into the league. He's got a +2 arm, it doesn't help. He basically just gives you some power, and he bats left-handed. His batting average isn't very good. If there's a shortage of catchers in the summer league, because we only have 24 teams, he might make it. Jim Lytle, not this card. You don't want him. I mean, the defense is good, but the stick is just not there at all. He made waivers. I guess you could say he's better than Alea, who didn't get waivers. Now, McCraw, this is an interesting card. Good defense at first, and he's versatile enough to play the outfield respectively. Has power against righties. Reasonable amount of on base. But he went for a nice long period of his career as this first base corner guy with a bad batting average. It makes him not necessarily that useful because you really want more production at first and corner outfield. The good news, the great news for Tom McCraw, he's got a very good 1974 card, or is it 73, one of those years. He comes out of nowhere and he hits like 280. As a full-time first baseman who can hit left-handed pitching fine, that card's going to get into the league, though we did have to play this one. And Dick Bosman, interesting player. His 70 card was signed as a free agent to the Cincinnati team that won the World Series a year ago. And they said, congratulations, Dick, you're on waivers. So they didn't really want to bring Dick Bosman back in their effort to repeat as World Series champions. But Dick Bosman's still pretty decent here. 12-game winner, 372, 237 innings pitched. He had an ERA of 3 a year ago. Now it's 372. So pretty soon he'll be a reliever. But this guy's definitely good enough. He'll make it in the summer league. Shed no tears for Dick Bosman. He got a World Series ring. Now you got your keepers. Elliot Maddox, interesting case here. His 74 card gets 10 MVP votes. Makes that top 10 list with some Hall of Famers, which is very strange. So that's the card the Yankees will pick up, not this one. You have Dennis Mankey, still with the Astros. We have not hit that Joe Morgan trade with the Reds yet. So Mankey's still with Morgan on the Astros. And this is just kind of an ordinary card. Very versatile player, known for his own base ability, drawing walks. We'll have a better card than this in one of the future years. This one hits 246. Here's Boog Powell. He would have been your 1970 American League Most Valuable Player for a Baltimore team that won the World Series. And a year after, he just doesn't come back and match that performance. He still has the home run ability. He can still field first base very well. He's not bad against left-handed pitching. He's very good. Is he great? I don't know about great. He's very good. He's good. He's a 256 hitter after an MVP performance. He's got 82 walks, 22 home runs. Until he goes to Cleveland in 75 and has a resurgence, this was probably the best of the next 4 years for Powell. And Brooksy here. You know, if you can ignore not having power versus lefties, which is very strange, the guy hits a lot of home runs. Look at him against righties. He had 20 of them. He's going to bring you that Gold Glove third base. 272 bat. Now, if you want, he hits 288, I think, in 74, but only has 8 home runs. So this is a World Series appearance for Brooksy as Boog Powell. I think it's those two Orioles, Powell and Robinson, that the Orioles will promote from this particular squad, and not this guy, Jim Palmer. His card is up. This card is available. He is one of the 20-game winners one of the 420 game winners in 1971 for Baltimore. Modest numbers, 20 and 9. Modest for him. Modest 420 game winner, I guess. 29, 268. But what bugs me about this card a lot is, man, those walks on 6 and 7, I can't have that. He's got a better card than possibly a Cy Young coming up in the years 72, 3, or 4. And I'd rather go with one. I know he's a starter 9, which is fantastic. But boy, I hate those walks. Just hate them. And I'm probably not going to take this card. Remember, I can only take 2 Orioles in the year of 71. And I think Boog Powell and Brooks Robinson would be those 2 guys. Fritz Peterson trying to continue with the Yankees as a lefty, right behind Mel Stottlemyre in that rotation. And he does fine with this card. I don't know if it's the best. I like that 6 column. I like those outs. But the homers, lefty versus lefty homers aren't that big a deal. Good against righties, no walks. 15-13, 305, 274 innings. Outstanding year for Fritz Peterson. Probably picked this card up. And Ken Sanders is back again from Milwaukee. Closing out games for a team who doesn't get a lot of save opportunities because it's the Milwaukee Brewers and they're not very good in this era. See the 12 losses there? How do you lose 12 games out of the bullpen with a 192 ERA? 136 innings pitched. Dynamite Ken Sanders card. Milwaukee will make him an early round pick. And then we get to the carry-on guys. Guys who have a future card. Dyer, I believe it's a 72 card that the Mets are using, which is better than this. Enzo, believe it or not, is a AA stealer or a 2 at short. One or both of those might be correct. I'm not exactly sure, but that future card is better than this one. Reggie, you don't have to worry about this, Reggie. He's not very good against lefties, is he? But he's an MVP in 1973 during the Dynasty, so that's the card we'll use. Munson, gosh, I hate passing on a -4 arm catcher, but he only hits 251 with this card, and he hits 300 with another future card with a good throwing arm. That's the one we're taking. Fred Norman was in the expansion draft sent to the Seattle Mariners, who didn't exist in this timeline. He has a better card in a future year, I think probably with the Reds, I'm going to guess, than this one. Reichert got traded to the Twins in their bullpen with Stan Williams. Minnesota always seems to have a really good bullpen in this Strat-O-Matic league. And Reichert's got a better future year than this one, though. Might want to consider, if you have the flexibility and you want to revert back to this 71 card, I will say that against righties, that's not a lot of hits. And if you can tolerate the homer against lefties on 5, that's not this is not a bad card. I think it would play better than a 350 ERA. Home runs aside. We got a couple undrafted free agents here. Pitchers. Bill Champion, who I believe is with the Phillies. Yeah. 438 ERA in 109 innings. Starter 6'4". He's okay. I mean, he could get in the league. I mean, I don't like to, there's going to be so many guys who look just like this competing for one of those final number 4 starter spots. It doesn't really matter that much. Same with Culver. As a relief only, a righty who gets knocked around by lefties is not a good look, particularly when you don't dominate versus righties. If there's a shortage of right-handed relievers, I suppose Culver gets in the league, but I'm not really impressed with this card, even though it's got a 265 ERA in 95 innings. It's going to be hard to get those stats, because when you see this card, all the lefties of a high percentage are going to get into this game, get the homer, get the doubles, get the walks. He's got to make his bacon over here getting righties out. And the last guy here is a guy who's on the retired list. We mentioned it earlier. Brant Alea. So the card was printed, so he could have qualified for waivers. So he would have taken a waivered spot away from one of the other 64 guys. And frankly, he's probably player 65 on a list of 64. I guess you can say he's got power versus lefties and gets on base for those walks. But 11's an out. 10 may as well be. Defense is bad. No base running. Not much to look at here for Brant. Though I got to say, Brant played for the Rockies expansion team, and he had some dynamite seasons in 69 and 70. He was an all-star in a couple times, so
It's a real big come down for Brant, and this might be the end of the line for him. But he really had a fantastic 69 and 70 for the Minnesota Twins and the Colorado Rockies in my league. So that's it for eliminating Coney Island Cyclones. We've eliminated half of this Winter Baseball Classic field. 8 teams are done, and we'll get to the next round of 8. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.